Okay, so I'm sitting here with Michael Wilton, guitarist for Queensryche, who's been in the band from its inception. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I, of course, am Diana Olmsted with Quick Throttle Magazine. I just had a couple questions, and I'll make it quick. The band has been together for 32 years and sold more than 30 million albums worldwide, received 3 Grammy nominations. Where do you see the band 10 years from now?
Well, as you know, we've been doing this for over 30 years now, and we're at the point. Obviously, we're older. But we're still making this our career, our job, and so we're taking Queensryche as far as it can go. We're gonna go until we can't go anymore. You see bands out there like the Stones, and those guys are getting old. So it gives us inspiration that we can do what we can do. It's obviously the road is kind of tough on the older people, so it's we got to take everything in stride. But as far as the future, there's limitless amounts of creativity still in Queensryche, and that is our passion. And so we are going to keep creating music as long as we can.
That's awesome. Music Enthusiast magazine recently took a poll of its readers asking them to vote for the most remarkable rock and metal relaunch within the past decade. Queensryche took first place by quite a margin, and their readers clearly felt that having Todd as the lead vocalist was so unexpectedly brilliant that it clearly resonated with longtime Queensryche followers. How did you guys feel as a band when you heard these results, that you were voted most remarkable rock and metal relaunch?
Well, we were thrilled to hear that this music poll happened, but people have to realize Queensryche fans are rabid, and they're loyal, and they will stick with you forever, and that's proof right there that those computer voting polls. It's that's the Queensryche fans. They're rabid.
That's awesome. So I've heard that you guys are writing songs for a new album tentatively due out in the summer of 2015. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but that's what I've heard. And my question is, do you see the direction of the music on this album to be consistent with classic Queensryche style, or a bit heavier, or with maybe a different edge?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint, but we have started, and we're creating the songs right now. There's at least a dozen tunes that we're working as a band, and it's a diversity, but it's true to the Queensryche roots. We're not going to give you anything crazy, and not a 180-degree flip. It will be pretty heavy, pretty prog, but very melodic, and just try to make it very three-dimensional and really interesting, like Queensryche fans love, and we love too.
Just a couple more questions. I know that Parker, of course, is another guitarist in the band, and it's been said that he has more of a hard punk metal background. How has he influenced the band?
Parker, is a few years younger, actually a decade or so. But he's grown as a musician, and he's a badass guitar player. And basically, it's kind of nurturing his playing, and he's staying true to the guitar parts of Queensryche and the Queensryche first 6 albums, which we're really concentrating on now. And so it's not like he's trying to throw some wild influence in there. He's really true to the sound and the playing of the Queensryche songs, because in the end, that's what the fans want to hear. They want to hear what they heard on the CD.
Right. As far as writing future music goes and current music, does Parker bring a lot to the table as far as creativity, maybe from a different angle?
Yeah,
Parker younger.
Parker brings some great ideas to the table, and especially on the new album. We've already got a couple from him, and that we're working on. And as you know, the last record, he wrote a kick-ass song that's on there that I think we're playing live tonight. So, he's growing as a musician, as a person. He wasn't even born when we did Rage for Order in 1986, so that's how young he is.
Yeah, speaking of that, I distinctly remember being a young and single lady and rocking Queensryche in my Camaro on Alki Beach. And it brings back a lot of memories, especially when I was listening to things like The Warning and Rage for Order. So when you play those songs on stage, does it ever take you guys back to what you were doing at that age or that time in your life? And if so, how does it compare to where your lives are at now?
It definitely takes you back. For me personally, I mean, I'm a very visual person, so I start seeing things, images in my mind of how I wrote things back then when I was, young in my very early 20s. And, it's a challenge actually for all of us to go back and play those songs, and some of them we have to relearn. And it's really interesting to see and compare how you wrote music back then as now that you're a matured musician, and how you write right now. It's
actually some life experiences and got some wisdom.
There's the original Chris DeGarmo and I were a great tandem team, and we worked really hard on bringing the sound, the Queensryche sound, and making the guitars work together and make them very interesting for people to listen to. And we're bringing that back now in our writing. We're trying to make things,
just in sync. Everything's clicking. Everything's
just everybody's giving their top performances.
That's excellent.
Without overplaying.
That's good. What is a typical day like when traveling on a tour bus together with these guys?
A typical day is, we usually arrive in a bus in a parking lot, and you don't know where you are. You see a parking lot and you see a building or a strip of buildings, and you're wondering how I get in.
Okay.
You're wondering where everybody is, and sometimes you're walking down endless corridors trying to find where you're supposed to be.
That is a good answer.
But I mean, these days luckily we have cell phones, so we can call, and usually somebody can point us in the right direction. But usually that's what it is, and then it's like finding a bathroom, finding something to eat, some nutrition to get us going, and then then everybody's ingesting huge amounts of caffeine, has to get the day going, and then everybody's kind of on their computers, going on the web, checking emails, checking all our media connections, and then then usually we get the daily, which is what's happening, like interviews, photo sessions, and what we're going to do. And then if there's free time, either we walk around the surroundings where we're at, or we find a room and set up our little travel recording rigs and start writing music.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's cool that you're creative on the road. Sometimes I wonder if some of your most interesting music comes from being on the road.
Well, you have so much time on the road where you're traveling and you're not really doing anything creative. So when you do have that time, you take advantage of it. And when days start blurring into one another, which happens after about 6 weeks on the road, it's great when you come home and then you see what you've recorded every day.
Nice.
And it's usually you can pull some really good bits from there.
That's cool. Do any of the guys in the band ride?
Yeah, Parker Lundgren, he's got himself a new Harley-Davidson.
Nice.
And he rides.
Okay.
He's over in the Alki Beach area, so he's
back in the day, that was the place to be. That was the cruising spot.
Yeah, and Todd, our singer.
Cool.
He's from Florida, so it's really flat there. So he's got a bike and he rides there. So
okay.
Those are the two motorcycle, heavy motorcycle guys.
And the last and final question is, QueensrycheOfficial.com is where fans can go to check out all the band's current tour dates and info, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, this wraps up my interview. Thank you so much, and I do appreciate your time, and I know you guys are going to put a heck of a show together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're going to rock.
Thanks. Bye.